Step 18 to celebrate. This is when it's time to party, when it hits your account. Everybody get paid. Lamont Ellis, the acquisition manager. I have a video for my VAs today. Um, I created this a while back to show people my process as an acquisition manager. I recently just put this specific strategy in my business model, and I wanted to give an update how these things all fit. I'll be actually showing this to my VAs also. Again, I have one specifically created for me, but I created one for them. Let's get right to it. Okay, so first things first. Which role are you? Are you acting as the bird dog? Are you acting as the wholesaler? Or are you acting as the acquisition manager? You're about to see, depending on how the property is, depending on the criteria of the property, that role may switch. That role may switch. For me, I'm an acquisition manager. I'm literally looking at what the disposition company is working for. By the way, if I didn't mention, I work for a large disposition company. I work for two partners that have their own, well, actually three, but people that have their own disposition company where they cherry pick leads. Let's get right to it. So first things first, we need to find the property. Finding the property is one of the most important things other than evaluating it. So let's get right to it. Evaluating, analyzing the property. This is the most important thing. People do this all the time. People lock up a property that is either high priced or they didn't underwrite the property correctly, meaning they did a discounted cash offer when it should have been a seller finance offer, or it should have been a subject to offer. So depending on the information that the property gives you, this is why it's important to ask the homeowner questions. See, as we say right here, what I was just talking about. So why it's important to ask the homeowners questions, you need to determine which does it fit, which criteria. Does it has a mortgage on it? If it does it make sense to take over the mortgage, or does it make sense to pay it off? This is a strategic way of buying real estate. People are looking for discounts. People are looking for deals. People want to make money. This is a business. We purchased the property as a wholesaler and an acquisition manager. These two right here. You purchasing the property to make profit off the property. A wholesaler, he's assigning the contract to an end buyer to make a profit off of it. A wholesaler, they're literally doing, an acquisition manager is doing that, but doing it for an actual disposition company, which you're about to see right here. Let's get into it. So step 4, make an offer. This is your wholesaler and acquisition. Bird dogs, you'll see what I'm talking about in a little bit. Why it's important, because this tells you the process. It tells you where you are in the process. If you're a bird dog, or if you're acting as an acquisition manager, or acting as a VA bird dog or a VA buyer, you can level yourself up depending on where you at. But step 4, make an offer on the property. This is where the contract is handed out. Again, as you see what it says right here in red. I bolded in red so you can see deal could fall apart. So you're going to see the deal could fall apart at all of these steps. Watch. So negotiating with the property. Deal could fall apart. Maybe you wanted a little lower, the homeowner wanted it a little higher. Same thing with the wholesaler. So reviewing the contract, getting it on the contract. This is the wholesaler's job. Following up to ensure both parties have signed. Again, this is the wholesaler's job. Disposition company. If a disposition is en route, now the disposition is determining, hey, they get to cherry pick properties. They get to see, hey, does it make sense for us to keep this deal, or does it make sense for us to sell this deal? They're looking at the money aspect. They're making a lot of money to where they can do that. I only know that because I am an acquisition manager, so I have to understand the process to make actual money. I need you guys because I can only do one thing at a time. I can't spend enough time speaking to everybody, talking to wholesalers, talking to these people. This is where you come in as a bird dog. As you can see right here, we haven't got to it yet. So step 9, if it's a wholesale deal, they find a buyer. They immediately find a buyer. Remember, the deal could fall apart at any of these things. So step 10, if no buyer is found, if they didn't find a buyer, this is where the bird dog comes in. So this is a very important statement right here. I want all my VAs to understand this, because I want you to understand, yes, the deal could fall apart, but it ain't over. Look, it ain't over. It ain't over. I've been doing this for a minute, man. Look, this is when a bird dog becomes important. Most people think they don't need one until they actually do. This is where you come in. Step 11, end buyer signs the contract. They get the inspection. This is it. Look, your job is right here. Your job is to help them find the buyer. Your job is to be the connector. Your job is to find as many properties, be the connector, connect the dots. My job is to make sure everybody get paid, underwrite the property, make sure people are following up, seeing what's said, documenting it, underwriting it, doing everything possible to make sure we make it all the way to step 18. So step 12, the inspection. The buyer accepts or renegotiates. So again, the deal could fall apart. They're looking for a deal also. This is another thing I tell my VAs. Hey, it's taking long because so everybody has their own criteria, their own buying methods. Everybody has their own buying methods. Everybody has their own, hey, I want to buy at this. Title company. So when they decide if they want to go forward, they take it to a title company. Why we take it to a title company? So it can legally be filed. It needs to be legally documented. The transaction, this is where the transaction starts doing the thing where me as the bird dog or as the acquisition manager, now my job is somewhat easy now. As a bird dog, as a wholesaler, your job is easy now because now you just need to follow up. You need to follow up in step 14. You need to follow up in step 15. You need to follow up in step 16. You need to follow up in step 17. So our job is somewhat done. We just need to make sure if the buyer has any questions or the wholesaler has any questions, that they're able to get the deal going, reconcile, fix. Your deal could fall apart at any of these reasons. How my mentor always taught me, we don't celebrate until the paycheck until it hits your hands. Until the money is in your account, that's when you celebrate. I know it's good to say, hey, congratulations, because this is a tough business. I've been doing it for a while. This is tough. Especially if you still getting stuck around here or getting stuck around here or getting stuck around here, or this is a difficult business. Sometimes as a bird dog, sometimes your job is to have a relationship with the acquisition manager. He may have the property. It may be with the wholesaler. He actually may have the property. It may be with the homeowner. They may have the property and you may be just targeting it as a norm. It may be just a normal property and you're targeting it. Or the property homeowner can be an investor himself. He can be a flipper. These are things that you got to know how to move. You got to know how to flip roles quickly. This is a quick business. So 17 is to make it official. All parties sign the deal. It's recorded legally with the county. So what that means is for those who don't know, I'm gonna break it down. It's legal. I don't know about in different countries, but in the United States, it's legal. Me and you both can get a napkin and write a homemade contract, and it can be legal. To make it official, like actual official. What do I mean by actual official? It's in the government's algorithm now. It's documented in the government's algorithm. your name is tied to this. So that's what they mean by official, to make it official. Again, I just told you the story about the investor and my partner. He said, hey, the investor didn't come to the table. This happens. As a bird dog, you don't have to deal with that. As a wholesaler, you do. As an acquisition manager, you do. As a bird dog, what you need to worry about is making sure people are communicating and making sure you know what's being said. That's the most important thing. Follow up, ask questions. Step 18. Step 18 is celebrate. This is when it's time to party, when it hits your account. Everybody get paid. As you can see, the seller gets their money, the wholesaler gets their money, the acquisition manager get his money. There's the bird dog. If you're a bird dog involved, they receive fees. I'm gonna put that in green. I like green. If you're a bird dog, there's your fee. So I know y'all thinking like, okay, so if all these people are getting paid on the transaction, how much money is actually spent? Thank you. I'm happy you asked that question. So this is why it's important for us as bird dogs to look for the cheapest deals. When people make it official, when you make this transaction official, there's way more fees that will come with it versus me and you sitting on a napkin versus me and you signing an agreement on a napkin. There's no state fees. When you document something, I don't know in different countries. Again, I'm talking about the country that I know. I have to keep saying that because I know some people might be like, that's not how I do it in my country. In my country, this is how it's, this is how it's taken care of. Welcome to the team, everybody. Thank you for watching. I hope you got a lot out of this, and